There's a particular kind of loneliness that has nothing to do with being physically alone. It's the isolation that comes when you're surrounded by people, but feel like you're living behind glass, unable to reach them or let them reach you. What most people don't understand about this emotional isolation is that it's not actually about being antisocial or difficult. It's about living in a world that's uncomfortable with authentic struggle. You've learned that your real feelings aren't welcome in most conversations, that admitting you're not okay makes others uncomfortable, that sharing your actual experience often leads to well-meaning but hollow responses. Just think positive, or everything happens for a reason, or you should be grateful for what you have. So, you've learned to translate your inner reality into acceptable social currency, saying, "I'm fine," when you're drowning, "just tired," when you're heartbroken. This emotional masking becomes second nature until you forget what it feels like to be genuinely seen by another person. You show up to gatherings performing okayness while your inner world feels like a storm. You engage in surface conversations while deeper parts of you remain unexpressed, unwitnessed, unknown. You smile at appropriate moments while inside you're screaming or weeping or feeling so numb that even screaming seems impossible. The isolation deepens because you start believing that everyone else has figured out something you haven't, that others don't struggle with the intensity you experience, that your particular brand of pain or confusion or overwhelm is somehow uniquely pathological. You look around at people who seem to navigate life with ease and conclude that your difficulty means something is fundamentally wrong with you, rather than recognizing that most people are also performing their okayness, also translating their struggles into socially acceptable presentations. The hidden cost of this emotional isolation extends far beyond just feeling lonely occasionally. When you consistently hide your authentic experience, you lose touch with your own reality. You start doubting your perceptions, minimizing your struggles, questioning whether your feelings are valid. The part of you that knows what you're actually experiencing gets buried under layers of adaptation to what others can handle or what society deems appropriate to express. This disconnection from your own truth also affects your ability to receive genuine support when it's offered. Because you've been performing okayness for so long, you can't recognize when someone might actually be willing to see and accept your struggles. You deflect care, minimize your needs, redirect conversations away from your reality, because you've forgotten that authentic connection requires the risk of being truly seen, including the messy, imperfect, struggling parts of your humanity. Living in this isolation also exhausts your system in ways that aren't obvious. The constant translation between inner reality and outer presentation requires enormous energy. You're essentially running two different programs simultaneously, the one where you're actually living and the one where you're managing how you appear to be living. This double existence is inherently depleting and makes even simple social interactions feel draining rather than nourishing. There's a truth that our culture rarely acknowledges. Most people are struggling with something significant most of the time. Behind the curated presentations and social performances, humans are navigating loss, uncertainty, trauma, disappointment, fear, and confusion. The isolation you feel isn't because you're uniquely broken. It's because we've collectively agreed to pretend that struggle isn't a normal part of human experience. That difficulty should be handled privately. That authentic emotions are somehow inappropriate for public spaces. This recognition opens the possibility of a different kind of connection, one based on shared humanity rather than shared performance of having everything together. When you understand that your struggles are part of the human experience rather than evidence of your inadequacy, you can begin to risk authentic expression, to test whether others might actually be relieved to encounter someone willing to be real rather than perfect. This doesn't mean dumping your entire emotional reality on unsuspecting people or making every interaction about your struggles. It means allowing small moments of honesty to emerge, admitting when you're having a difficult week, sharing when something is genuinely challenging, letting others see glimpses of your actual experience rather than only your managed presentation of that experience. Start by identifying one person in your life who seems capable of holding space for difficulty, someone who doesn't immediately try to fix or minimize when others express struggles. Practice sharing something small but real with this person, not seeking solutions, but simply offering your authentic experience and seeing how they respond. Notice that many people are actually relieved when someone breaks the surface tension of constant okayness performance. Experiment with responding more honestly when people ask how you are, not with a complete emotional download, but with simple truth. I'm having a rough week. Or, things are challenging right now. Or, I'm working through some difficult stuff. Notice how often people respond with recognition rather than judgment, with their own admissions of struggle rather than discomfort with yours. Begin to question the assumption that your particular struggles are somehow uniquely shameful or isolating. Read stories, listen to podcasts, engage with content that reveals the universal nature of human difficulty. Notice how often you relate deeply to others' honest accounts of their challenges, and recognize that others might relate similarly to honest accounts of yours. Practice offering the kind of authentic presence you long for to others when they're struggling. Instead of rushing to fix or minimize their experience, simply witness it. Say, "That sounds really difficult," or "I can understand why that would be hard." Notice how this kind of witnessing creates connection rather than distance, intimacy rather than isolation. As you begin to risk authentic expression and offer authentic presence, something shifts in your social world. Conversations become more real, more nourishing. Relationships deepen because they're based on truth rather than performance. You start attracting people who appreciate authenticity over perfection, who value genuine connection over superficial harmony. You discover that many people have been waiting for someone else to break the ice of constant okayness, to make it safe to be real rather than perfect. Your willingness to be authentically human gives others permission to drop their own masks, creating ripples of genuine connection that extend far beyond your immediate interactions. The isolation that felt so permanent begins to dissolve as you remember what it feels like to be truly seen and accepted, struggles and all. You realize that connection isn't about finding people who never struggle. It's about finding people who can be present with struggle, their own and others, without needing to immediately escape or fix or minimize the experience. You start to feel less alone, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you're no longer carrying your experience in complete isolation. You have witnesses to your reality, companions in the shared human experience of navigating life's inevitable difficulties. The silence that felt so heavy becomes filled with understanding, with shared recognition, with the profound relief of being known. This doesn't solve all your problems or eliminate difficult emotions, but it transforms your relationship to them. Instead of carrying struggles alone, you carry them within a context of connection understanding, and shared humanity. Instead of feeling uniquely broken, you feel part of the human experience of learning to navigate challenge with grace, support, and authentic presence. So, if something in this message speaks to the part of you that's been carrying things alone, leave a comment with the word "seen." Let it be an acknowledgement that you're ready to risk authentic connection, to be witnessed in your struggles as well as your strengths. And if these words feel like the beginning of permission to be real rather than perfect, subscribe. There's more here for you. Not about fixing your struggles, but about discovering that they're part of what makes you beautifully, authentically human, deserving of connection and understanding exactly as you are.